guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be teaching you how to replace the end of a broken extension cord or of a bad one. See, this one here is charred, it's burned, and if you didn't notice, it's missing that ground prong, which is a safety mechanism that it needs for like equipment failure or electric shock. We need that to protect people. And this is usually a 3-prong, but it broke off. Now, if you had a prong break off from the outlet, what would you do first is you turn off the breaker immediately, and it doesn't matter what prong it is, neutral, ground, prongs that may not usually have electricity, or the hot, of course you would turn it off. Turn it off for any prongs, because you could still short something out, or even get shocked, especially if your house was built before 1980, and you have shared neutrals, you can still shock. So you want to turn off the breakers and then get proper tools, pull it out gently, make sure you don't damage the outlet or short the outlet inside internally, and when you turn it on it blows up. You don't want that to happen. And if you just had it break off, or like you don't need to worry about that. The materials I will be using to replace it are these two North American NEMA 515, NEMA 520. Now this is a 20 amp one. You usually don't see this. This is for high power equipment, usually industrial applications. This is one you would typically have in your house. It's a NEMA 515. Now NEMA 515 is also without the ground too. The ground is for like heavier duty appliances that have metal on them, and you need to ground that for safety. So yeah, that's what that's for. So yeah, this is what you typically have for like light duty 15 amp appliances. This you don't usually see, and this is a NEMA 520, and this, if you notice, one of the prongs is turned sideways basically. See right over here, kinda, that one's turned sideways. So basically if I plug it in, see that winking side? That indicates it's a 20 amp outlet, and that's what it's for. Plugs like this. So see that? It fits perfectly in the winking side of the outlet, and it fits. But now, in a regular 120 volt outlet, 15 amps, it wouldn't do that. It would not fit. See? Doesn't go because it doesn't have the winking left side. So you can't overload something and burn it up. But also you can fit this into a 20 amp outlet too, because it has both like standards and can support both standards. So this will fit in perfectly, just as the other one did. Now I'm gonna be using this one for this cord because that cord, it's not gonna be anything heavy duty. Like, I'm just gonna use it for like lights. So the tools you will be needing today are wire strippers. I got two kinds here. One has the little needle nose pliers that my grandpa gave me. Shout out to him. Then the wire strippers. Now you may need needle nose pliers. In my previous projects, I forgot to mention you may need needle nose pliers if you don't have wire strippers with pliers in them. I'm going to be using this instead. Then screwdrivers, you may need one smaller flathead and then one bigger flathead, two Phillips outlet tester to test the other end of the extension cord. What we're installing is the thing we need the most. The material is our plug, and by the way, this is not a plug. This is an outlet or a receptacle. This is a plug. You plug it in. People keep mixing that up. This is outlet, this is plug. This is receptacle or outlet. So yeah, I just wanted to clear that up. So yeah, let's get started. You do need to cut it first. Now, you could either cut up all the way to here, or since I'm reusing the other end, I'm going to cut it a little bit farther over here. So you want to just cut straight through. Now, this is the part you need to be careful with. Stripping it off, you want to carefully go. First, you need to measure this. It has a strip gauge on the back, which is nice. So you want to line it up. So we need about that much, so about like 1.5 inches. So you want to carefully score on it. So you want to bend it. So applies pressure. Carefully, see, you can kind of see the black hot wire down there. You don't want to go through the insulation. You just want to go through the covering. And ooh, there it is. Alright, so pretty nice. We got those all ready. No score marks, no nothing. So be careful, if you did, you might need to, if you went through the wire, you may need to cut that end off, or if it's not horrible, wrap just a little bit of electrical tape on it if needed. You may want to use thin strands like the kind I have. It's this kind right here. You want thin strands. Not this kind. This is too thick. You want small rolls. The color doesn't really matter. You just want it to go thinly on these wires, so you don't want to go too thick. You'd probably want to use from the mark here to like there, just like 1.5 wraps, probably 2. Not too much though, because you don't want to screw up the wires and like make them stick to each other and mess with the connections. So now these things, you need to loosen them carefully with the Phillips screwdriver. Look at that. Should open like this, kind of like Jaws, I guess. This little piece here that goes on the wire, make sure you don't lose these slip out. Now this holds it in place. Now you want to strip them. You don't want to strip stranded wire too much or like crimp too far, because it will actually cut the wire. So, and cut the individual strands itself. So it has a little strip gauge, so you need about like that much, and there it is. Just like that. We got 1 down, 2 more to go. Now if this video is kind of hard or confusing to like fix your extension cord, I recommend maybe going to a professional, but it's better just to buy a new one. So yeah, just be careful doing this, because make sure you wire it correctly. So remember, on an outlet also, silver, like silver here, always goes to white. The bronze screw right here, especially on the outlet, always goes to the hot wire, and the green or the bare copper always goes to the green screw. Or yeah, and on this one it has the green screw also. So now you want to get your wires in there. That's a pretty good solid contact. Don't strip too much. I said that in my previous video. Make sure you don't strip it too much. So now we got the ground wire connected. Make sure there's no strands poking out of the hole. So now we want to like tighten it right here and tighten it as much as possible. Make sure not to strip the screws. That means you're using too big or too small of a screwdriver. That goes for any DIY project. So I got the ground one in. Now you want to strip off a little bit extra for the ground, because it's got a longer hole in there and longer prong, as you can see. So yeah, make sure you do that. So now hot neutral, you do it the same but different screws. So be sure to match it up. So now we have the silver screw, which is always the white wire. So now you want to just stick it in there. Yeah, when doing this, if your wires look really, really worn down, then I recommend getting a new extension cord, because it is a fire hazard. And no professional can fix a fire hazard. Like, it's, even if they say they can or they claim to, it's not real. So like, because it's not worth your safety. You want to tighten it. Done. Hear that clicking? That's good. Now make sure to wiggle the wires and then keep tightening. So that's how you connect the hot and neutral. Well, I haven't connected the hot, but it's the same for the hot. Make sure no copper is showing, or aluminum, because sometimes extension cords have different kinds of wire. So now tighten it up. So as you can see, notice how you can see the insulation, tell that plastic kind of changes, and as you can see, it kind of lines up in there. Come on, camera, focus. And then it's insulation all the way in, making good contact with the screws. You want a good contact. Really, see that? That's a really solid connection. You want to pull on it to make sure, but don't pull too hard. You don't want to screw it up. It's not like Hulk is going to pull it apart. It just needs to make a solid connection. Now you want to get those plastic pieces back on. Now make sure you're putting them in the right way. If they don't fit, put them in, and it has that writing on it on the outside. You want to make sure it's in right. So now you want to eat the cord with the cord attachment. You want to just eat it or bite on. Now we gotta tighten those up, and this is what it should look like. It should be perfectly in. If you pull it out, doesn't come out, no insulation is showing. Now if it was showing like this, now if this were to happen, you gotta open it back up and fix it, because that means you strip too much, and this right here is a safety hazard, and that's one of the reasons why you'd want to replace the end of your cord if insulation was showing and like wires were showing. So make sure you do it right, or if you're feeling confused, this is hard, it's complicated for you, just buy a new extension cord. Like, safety first. Like, it's not worth it. Like, or if you wanted to, it's hard to find professionals for extension cords, but you could go to an extension cord professional, or if you know an electrician or something, you could probably bring it to them, have them fix it for like 20 bucks, I don't know, something like that. So yeah, be careful when you're doing this. Connect the wires correctly, do it right. Goodbye, old friend. You went through a lot, but it's time to put you down. And I remember the day you started smoking. There you go. There they are. Now, it says it's correctly wired on here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you really enjoyed this video. Please, would you do me a favor and like the video, click that thumbs up button. And I really enjoy you guys' support. Also, if anyone that you know may need help or something, can you please share the video with them? And also, did you know that 94.2% of you guys are not subscribed? Only 5.8% of you guys are subscribed. Hope you guys enjoyed that video.